Alright guys, so we're back out here with the F-type, back in the front yard. I finally got that vacuum leak on the symposer to kind of fixed. So I had to ghetto rig it. I used some duct tape, I used some electric tape, and I put it back together, and it was working good for the last few days. It did pop off the first time because I didn't use duct tape, I only used electric tape. Popped off. Felt like a crazy mass airflow sensor problem. It was just RPMs were jumping up and down. It was like it was gonna cut off. Jumped out, checked it, seen it popped off, popped it back on, got back home, duct taped it this time, and didn't give me no problems from there. But instead of buying the whole symposer, however you say it, I just bought the part that went bad, which was this tube right here. Found it on eBay. And on mine, where it connects to the head, it cracked right here. It was cracked really bad, all right there. The other side that connects to the actual symposer was fine. So what I did there was, in order for me to remove it, I had to cut it because it was on there pretty tight. I cut it on both ends. So when I put it back on, I thought I was going to be able to replace it from an auto parts store, but I couldn't find this at an auto parts store. I ended up just taping it around there, taping it around this way. That didn't work out, so I ended up having to put duct tape and duct tape. So let's take a look at it so you can see more of what I'm talking about. So if you look right there, I got it clamped because it kept popping off with duct tape and red tape on that side. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this off. So I just like to disconnect this clip right here. This engine is hot. What's just driving it? Push this out of the way there. Put this a little bit out of the way, doesn't matter really where. And also a vacuum line I replaced quite a while ago. This vacuum line was broken. This guy right here, it runs into the symposer from the bottom of it to the top of it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it runs somewhere right there. I don't really remember when I took it off. So you see how easy it's gonna come off. Well, I mean, that duct tape is a little melted, so it might be a little sticky, but loosening that up. It's pretty hot, so I'm gonna put on a glove to pull this off. Hopefully I'm able to replace this without having to pull every last thing back off. See how easy that came off? With the clamp, it wasn't gonna come off that easily, but without the clamp, before I had the clamp, that's why it popped off on me. So this is my ghetto rig work. You see, it was black tape right there, duct tape right there, because that's the crack. That's why I cut it with the blade to get it off. And then this is what it looked like right here. This whole piece broke off when I took it off. When I was pulling it off, I was trying to pull it off before I realized I had to cut it off. I just pulled it and it snapped because it was already cracked right there, so it just snapped the rest of the way. Then I used the blade to cut it, so it had to cut down the middle and it was snapped around there. So I did put duct tape in the inside too, and it still did decent, but not perfect. So what I need to do is I need to connect that line to that, and then that line to that guy right there. Now I'm hoping that this, because I didn't have much success with making this one flush, because for some reason it just wouldn't sit flush. Couldn't get it all the way in there. They're about the same length. This one just has more curve to it. So I'm hoping that I'm able to actually get this one on there flush. If not, I'm probably gonna end up taking this whole thing off again, which wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe it was just extra annoying because it was my first time doing it. I'm gonna move the camera over here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just go under this wire right here. Maybe this one might actually be harder because it's not curved. The other one was curved. So let me see. I was hoping that the fact that it wasn't curved was gonna give me the strength I needed to pop it in there. The old one was pretty flimsy. Then the symposer itself likes to move. You know what? I think the only right way to do this is to get that symposer out. So pretty much to get it out is those screws right there. One. There's another one on the bottom. I don't know if I'm able to get an image of it. Two, and then another one right there. Three. So it's 3 screws right there. 1, 2, and 3. One on the bottom you can see. And then another 3 on the other side. And it pretty much pushes this plastic pipe back, which sends coolant from one side of the head to the other side of the head. It's connected on both sides of the head, and you just pull it back, and then you're able to just pop it out. It just has 2 little grommets that are stuck onto it, one on the top and one on the back, facing me, the passenger side, when I say the back. And you just pop them out and wiggle it out, and it comes out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that off because I think that's the only way I could do it. I'm gonna try to do it without removing that plastic cooling line and see if I'm able to. All right, so this time I was actually able to get this out. This is the symposer. I was able to get this out by just taking off one side, the driver's side, and pulling that plastic pipe back a little bit. So the way this works is the pipe that we're replacing goes into here, and then the other piece that's still on the back of the head, the other side goes on there. This piece connects here, and that's the piece that's actually this hose runs into the firewall. And then that other vacuum line I was talking about, I guess it doesn't connect back twice into here. This line, this is a dry rotted line I had to replace too. It goes in here, and it has another fitting right here. I guess it connects to a little sensor or something. All right, so now that we got this off, let's get this put on. I forgot to record me putting it back together, but I already got pretty much this bolt installed. I got the new piece installed, and I was still able to put it back in with only leaving this side on the head. I didn't take that one off. I took the other one off. Lost some coolant, got to refill the coolant. And to get these on, it was a pretty tight fit, so I used my heat gun. I heated it up first with my heat gun and kept squishing it down, heating it up, squishing it down, heating it up, squishing it down. Then I heated up again to let it keep that form, and squished around it with my hands so it wouldn't leak. But I pretty much got it all done. Now I just need to slightly put it all back together. Like one of my favorite YouTube channels, click. Click. Yeah, just double check this one. Click. I don't know what the torque specs are to that. I don't think there really is any. Just a vacuum line. Oh, you know, this whole time I've been saying that it's coming out of the head. Well, actually, those cool lines are coming from the heads. But this is connected to the supercharger. So now to go to the other side, get that piece will back on with 3 bolts, and then I just connect everything back up. Let's make sure I didn't damage anything. There's a little plastic clip that comes out of the head. Yeah, and it looks good. Get these bolts hand threaded in. Mind you, I'm being a little extra cautious because it's still a hot engine I'm working on. Very hot. I get burned all the time, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta get these jobs done. I'm actually touching the bottom of the top of the block where there would be an 8th piston if it was the V8. The V6 has the same block as the V8. They just close it off and make the head shorter. And unless you're really skilled, there's no way of making it. Because I don't think there's no way of making it. I tried looking it up. There's no way at all. I looked for days. No way at all to turn the block back into a V8. It's not worth it. Unless you just have a machine shop at your house and have plenty of money to waste, then yeah, why not? But at that point, you're better off just replacing it. So the way I'm doing this, found the easiest for me is to actually just sit on the fender and lean over, and I got a glove right here, so my arms on the supercharger, it's not burning me, and I just line myself up with it. Can't see nothing. This last bolt at the bottom, you're not going to be able to see it. And I found no videos on doing this, none at all. And I'm probably not the best person to make this a how-to video, because it's not really a how-to video. If I had another camera person with me, I could do it, but I'm more of a spur of the moment type of person. I just do things and figure it out as I go. So I couldn't find no videos on exactly how to do this, so I was just going with the flow, looking at some diagrams from the parts list to see where they went. I didn't see that 3rd screw though. It wasn't until I did this the first time, pulled it off, pulled 4 bolts off thinking I was good, and I was trying to tug it and I'm like, shit, it won't come out. And the only thing that made sense was it had to be another bolt. And I started feeling around there, shining my light, and I got a little glimpse of a silver bolt down there. And I was like, oh, yep, there's another one there. And then figuring out how to line it up was the most difficult part. But what I've learned to do when lining up, I use 2 hands. I'm not gonna lie, I use 2 hands, but for the most part, I'll show you in a second. For the most part, if this was the pipe, I just get the extensions and I line it up directly. It angles down like this, and I line it up directly in the center of the pipe, and I just let it go with the angle and slide it down, and it usually makes contact with the 3rd bolt pretty easily. But when I was trying to do it standing over the car, it was impossible. So that's when I just started leaning over the car. Once I started leaning over the car, then I was able to get that 3rd bolt out like nothing. And I actually felt a lot more comfortable. So I just started doing it all like this, getting on top of the car, leaning on it. And when you do stuff like this, it just gives you more of a one-on-one connection with your vehicle. See, right now with my right hand I'm holding, I have 2 short extensions put together. That makes it perfect. Right hand holding the extensions, left hand holding the ratchet, and then lining it up. Playing the patient game with this stuff, because you're only gonna get a little bit at a time. And if anybody out there knows a better way of doing this, feel free to tag me on a video, send a comment, anything. Surprised that nobody posted no videos on this. It seems very common, or if people are posting videos on it, those videos just aren't getting the attention they deserve. All right, so now I'm gonna tighten up the bottom on it since I already have the ratchet down there. Just move it over, line it up like I said. Also use my hand as a guide. Felt it go in. I'm right-handed, so this is a little hard to do. I'm not using my left hand right now. Right now my left hand is just sitting there. I'm using my right hand to fling it up and lightly push it down until it gets tight. Then I'll use my left hand to add torque. There's a little hose back here that it doesn't really, I guess, matter if it goes back on or not, but it clips onto the symposer. I'm gonna try to get it back in there if I can find it. Yeah, right there. Just has a little housing clip just to hold it in place. I got it back in there. All right, the next thing is put this clip back in place. Put these bolts back here. Last time I disconnected a lot more to get this all taken apart. And I'm pretty confident I found an easier way to do it. And I don't believe I need to put anything else back on. Any little thing. Got all the little things already situated. I might have messed up the routing with this hose. Seems okay. I wonder if there was a clip down there I used to go to or something. Nope, nothing. So let's push this baby back in there. It actually feels a lot more better than it did the last time I did it. Maybe I missed one of those grommets. I noticed that those two grommets, there's two grommets that I was talking about. One here, one back there. I think I might have this time I know for a fact I put them both on good because I took my time making sure that they're on good, and it feels better. All right, so that part's replaced. So this is the beginning of P2187 and a P2189. And you've already tried replacing the diaphragm, because that was the first thing I changed, that diaphragm right there. I replaced that diaphragm, smoked the car, I checked all the intake pipes. I found, oh, you see, talking made me realize that I forgot to put this back on. I found out that this right here was dry rotted, and I replaced it. I actually gotta put this back in, so I'm not really gonna be able to see where this went, but I took it apart like 5 times, so I'll remember by feel. All right, so I gotta put on. If you look right there, there's yep, you can see it right there. Now that's the one I put, that's the top one, and then should be able to see the bottom one. Probably not good enough lighting. So right here, see my hand is a switch. Right here is where that vacuum line connected. So if you can't see it, this is just a switch, and then right in there connected to the symposer, it slid right in there. All right, so it's all done. Let me just top this off. Turn it on, see if we hear any vacuum leaks. All right, she's good, she's on, she sounds fine. I actually think that I might have a bad, I believe it's called the supercharger coupler. Might look into that, might end up changing that. But if it's bad or not, it's good to change it, because if it has the factory one, they go bad anyways. So yeah, you guys, there you go. If you guys ever get that lean out idle code and you change your diaphragm and that's not doing anything, and then if you look at your long-term field trim and short-term field trim and it's super high, that's definitely the next place I'll check. Just grab the hose, wiggle it around, maybe spray some carburetor fluid or something there, check it, and it's not that hard to change. Go ahead and give it a change. Change the whole part if you want to, or buy just a corrugated pipe like I did off of eBay. Either way, it's gonna work. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time.